Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I have very messed up fingerprints.
And today we're going to be looking at Print Weaver from N.L. Morrison. This is a game that combines an approachable form of palmistry and high fantasy roleplay in a gothic, souls-like tabletop game for 2 to 7 players. 7 specifically. Yeah. Cool game. I've had this one for a long time on the shelf, and I wanted to go over it. So excited to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a really got some really interesting stuff in here. I enjoyed reading through it.
Yeah, the character obviously, you know what? We'll get to it.
You're not gonna find out unless you sit through this.
Yeah, a couple of other just great things going on today. Summer Basho starts today. Big Hosh gonna redeem himself from last month. Listen, if you just give sumo a chance to be your favorite thing ever. 15 straight days of sumo. I watch on Twitch here. The channel is Midnight Sumo. Check it out. They play the whole tournament with English commentary over it, and then replay it throughout the day, so you can check it anytime you want. Big fan. Really like what Midnight Sumo does over there, but get into sumo, kids. And we're going to do something today that we haven't done in quite a while. We might start doing it again. We say that a couple of times. So we're going to go over some stuff on Kickstarter and BackerKit. We're going to kickstart the podcast like we used to do. We're just going to run through, throwing it way back when we did 45 minutes of this beginning of every episode.
There was a lot.
Miss
Listen,
that.
In 2021, there was a ton of content on Kickstarter. It was much different than it is now. So
very much so. We were spending way more money, one, and two, there was so much shit. It was the golden age of TTRPG Kickstarter. It was like 2021, 2022. But we're just gonna speed through the pandemic. Yes, my wallet would appreciate it. Right? We're just gonna buzz through some stuff real quick, and then talk about a couple of things. But why don't we hop over to that screen and we'll run through that quick, and then we'll get into Print Weaver. So first one we're going to talk about, we've talked about here before. This is the Liminal Horror Deluxe Edition. Don't need to say more than we really did when we had Josh come on and run it a couple of times. We had a whole episode dedicated to like previewing it. I think is it even on? Oh yeah, it's right there. That's our episode right here. So it's only got 5 days left. It's at 110K. Let's get it more money because I want cooler stuff, and there's some more expansions and stuff at some add-ons at not add-ons, stretch goals at 120. So let's give them your money if you haven't. It's awesome. It's going to be awesome. Very excited for this one. So definitely go back. That is on BackerKit, and we'll make sure all the links to all of these are in where links are. It's the internet. You know how it fucking works. The second one we're going to look at is Golem Parade. I'm shocked this hasn't funded. It's a pretty low goal. This is from Kobayashi. Kobayashi that you know from Flayo, Black Sword Hack. I mean, I was interested in this one. I saw them talk about this on, I don't know if it was on Reddit or maybe it was like a notification I got from a previous Kobayashi project, but yeah. I think I sent it to you, maybe.
No, I don't think it was you.
Oh, well, then good that you got it from somewhere else. But I don't think this hasn't really got a whole lot of push. It should. I said straight up the second I backed it as backer number 1, if it's Kobayashi, I'm fucking backing it because everything they do is amazing. So Golem Parade, go on impossible missions for the mage that created you. You are a golem. You and your companions were created by a mage to do his bidding. Serve him well, and you might earn your freedom. Failure or disobedience will result in death or worse.
You are not a golem. You are a golem.
Sure. Golem. However you want to say it.
Is a character from Lord of the Rings, and a golem. Right.
Yeah. However you want to say, monsters and all. Golem Parade. I love the art style too. Looks very pixel art style. Looks really, really sick. Again, I don't care what the game is. If Kobayashi makes it, it's going to be great. But this one still looks really neat. The art's really neat. It's got 16 days left and is at about $1,000 out of 1687, which is a pretty low goal. So go give Kobayashi your money if you have it, because again, everything they do is awesome. OSRIC 3. Don't need to fucking talk about this. Just letting you know if you didn't know, OSRIC 3 is out. And the best part about it, yeah. Well, do you know what OSRIC is? It's like the first, literally like the first retro
I
club.
do. I can't remember the acronym off the top of my head, but yes, I do.
Who cares? It's the first acronym of AD&D. The only reason that this one fucking matters is they got rid of the OGL. Because fuck Watson, fuck Hasbro. Yeah. So I did back it. I'm interested to see what they did. Their shit's been free forever, and I've definitely downloaded a fuckload of it, so there's no reason not to throw a little bit of money at them too. So I'm excited to see what this one does. They said they by getting rid of the OGL, they're actually able to steer a little bit closer to AD&D, which is cool, especially because it's in Creative Commons now. So we'll see how it goes. And obviously the cover is an AD&D throwback with the red dragon and everything. So looks kind of neat. That's over on BackerKit, OSRIC 3.0. For you wargamers out there, Flames of Orion. Flames of Orion is a mech tabletop skirmish game set in a dark future. I've been getting really deep into war games and skirmish games, so you might see more of those here on the show. We love
skirmish, so
yeah, we do love the skirmish. First of all, the cover and the art looks great.
God, look at this fucking art,
right? It's incredible. For those in podcast land, I mean, these kind of episodes suck for you. But Flames of Orion is a model agnostic, low mini count, pick up and play tabletop war game, which sounds awesome. You only need like 4 models. You can use any models you want, that fit the size or whatever. And they have
the little dinosaur toys I have from a child.
Yeah, just the tiny little ones. Yeah. And they have 2 different styles of play, quick start and veteran mode. And the quick start play literally gets you up and running in like 5 minutes. So if you have like 4 mechs, I guess 8 between 2 people in 5 minutes, you can just pick up and play this. It looks fantastic. I know a lot of people that have played this and said it is wonderful. So definitely backed this right away. Excited for that. That is over on Kickstarter. It just started a couple days ago. It's got like almost a month left, 25 days. So definitely going to go back that. It looks neat, and again, I'm getting deeper and deeper into the skirmish games, so that's definitely getting up there. Cloud Empress. Stories from the Slip. This is 3 new zines for Cloud Empress. You're going to get Ballad of the Booming Blade, Body Hopping in Polite Society, and Cloud Empress Almanac Volume 2. The Ballad of the Blooming Blade is an expansion. We learn about Fabled Sellsword. And it's a supplement that adds numerous dangerous enemies and special chalk powder sword spells.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one sounds dope. The Body Hopping in Polite Society is a supplement for players and game wardens looking to add flavor to the body hoppers in their campaigns. Love a good body hopper. It's one of my favorite things in Cloud Empress. And then the last one, which I think is really, really cool, for those that don't follow the newsletter from Watt, they put out expansions like all the time throughout the year, and this is a collection of the second year's worth of all of that newsletter stuff in one zine. So looks really, really cool. It's obviously been relabeled, Panic Engine with like, Mothership moving away from compatible Mothership stuff and things like that. But it looks really neat. It is a limited project. Watt actually talked about this on the show with us previously. I think we might be on this page too. Am I right?
Yeah, are we?
Yeah. The Weekly Scrolls, number 2 overall game of 2024. So this is a very limited project. This is kind of to, I know what I talked about before, like putting some stuff out, also generating a little bit more income to be able to put stuff out. This is going to be back towards what they did originally. So they'll be mailing it all out on their own and everything. It is limited to 1,000 copies, and that's it. There's 19 days left, and it's at 765 backers. So you only have about like 235 more backers before the project, like it runs out. You can't get any more.
I'm going to be really honest with you, Ryan. I did not read this page and I backed this project. I haven't been backing a lot of backer kicks or Kickstarters or anything, and I saw this and I was like, whatever. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, there's a couple of these I definitely backed and then went back and looked later and was like, oh, we're on that page. Like this. Like I backed this. I read the top. I never read far enough down until I saw, hey, number 2 game overall. We're on the fucking page. We're on the page of like half of these. So, and we're not only looking at this just because we're on the pages, but
well, you know.
Yeah,
also.
But what is great, Cloud Empress is one of my favorite games out there. It is my favorite Mothership game, and that includes Mothership. Yeah. Yeah. The next one is the Job Boxset Edition. The Jerb. This is obviously Games Omnivorous. For those who don't know, Games Omnivorous has basically, they're like changing their entire model. They're not really being a games publisher anymore. They're being more of like a games collaborator. This one's actually in a collaboration with Exalted Funeral. The Job is a game that we've looked at before on episode 125. This is another one I backed right away without looking down, because if you scroll down far enough, yep, that's us right there. Nice. If you scroll episode 125. I just discovered this today. I didn't scroll far enough down to see it. But if you want to check out the review that we did of The Job, which was one of our favorite games of whatever year we did it, I think it was last year, 2024. Yeah, it's so good. Like, for all of you Blades people that do Blades because you like heists, this is just a better game.
Great heist game. Also, I am a big fan of the Ocean's 11, that one movie, not the whole series. So I love a heist with cutting away and shit, you know.
Yeah.
I know no one else likes that movie but me, but still.
I love it. I think it's great. The first one is great. It's by the third one where they're like, you basically start doing Blade shit where it's like, oh, that's what you did. Well, actually, I did this. You cut back before they cut back before they cut back. Yeah. But it's a full box set of awesome stuff. You get like the book, you get dice, you get notepads, you get secret files, you get character sheets, you get like a ton of stuff, everything you want and need to play the game. You can even add on like little like the domino masks or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the I backed in the first 48 hours, so I got them free. Nice. But if you back the project and the masks, it's $69. So go do that. It's got 2 weeks left. It's funded, but honestly, for how good this game is, it should have a lot more than $31,000.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's a great game. I mean, also it's a great game that's easy to run. It's just like if you and your friends like are looking for something to do, it's like a fun, easy sesh with rules that are easy to understand. Yeah, I cannot recommend this game more.
I guess I should, for those that don't know it, I guess I should read the intros of some of these a little bit. The Job is a tabletop role-playing game. No, I will. Leaning into the narrative, story-driven genre in conventional RPGs, winning or losing is irrelevant. This game, however, has a clear objective: to pull off a heist. You either do or you don't. Yeah, because your dice can fall down and you fail. But yeah, love this. And again, like you said, super easy to pick up. This is even easier because it comes with the additional cheats and notepads and everything. So stretch goals on this will just be more heists. So go snag that. Mad as Hell is a radical liberationist role-playing game of resistance, community, and punching evil. Nice. It is an anti-capitalist demon hunting RPG from Soul Muppet Publishing. We're not going to talk about this one too much because guess what? Zach, or Jelly Muppet from Soul Muppet Publishing, will be on the show on Wednesday morning to talk all about it with us. So all you need to know right now is to go fucking back it. Also, the book has not one but 2 cutouts on it. Very excited for that. I don't think we're on this page.
No,
we're not. We're not in this one. But the last one, Liquid Steel. I'm going to be completely honest. I love everything that I was just talking about. This is what I'm most excited for. I had never heard of Liquid Steel before, and the second you start seeing the art, it looks amazing. So Liquid Steel is from Eduardo Mazzatelli and Enrique Alcatenas. Classic science fantasy comic series. It's an Argentinian comic series. It's being translated into English and translated into a Troika RPG system. And you get both books in this campaign. So the entire run of Liquid Steel is being translated by one of our very favorite people, Gabriel Quiroga. And Gabriel Quiroga and Melsonian are working together to turn it into a Troika-compatible setting and system, which I'm so excited for. The art on this looks absolutely incredible. And the creators are hand in hand with Gabriel and Melsonia the entire way through. There's going to be additional art from the original artist in the Troika version of the role-playing game, and they're using original scans of the art from the artist in the new English translation. So it looks like it's going to be absolutely incredible. The art is it's just ridiculous. So really excited for that. And Melsonian is one of my favorite publishers out there, and Gavril is one of my favorite game designers. So those two working together is absolutely fantastic. Very excited to see how this goes. And yep, we are on this page too. Where is it? Where is it? Are we? No, maybe it's not on this one.
Oh, well. But yeah, I was gonna be surprised we were on this one because
no, I must have been looking at a different one. But yeah, Liquid Steel. It is funded. Obviously, could get funded for more. Go back that. Not only that, for those that do like Melsonian or just like cool, like small run games to begin with, Melsonian Arts Council has a thing called Friends of Malsonia. It's like $20 or $30 a month, and basically it's a subscription, and you get everything they make for the entire year, free after the subscription. But also every version of the thing that you get has like an alternative Friends of Malsonia only cover that's only available. Yeah, so I was like, you fucking got me already. Like alt covers and stuff. Yeah, so obviously, and that includes like Kickstarters and everything. You get everything. But you get their cover version of it, so I'm backing the projects and then getting both, so I can have both covers because I'm a fucking psychopath. But that includes Liquid Steel. So if you're backing them when this project funds, or I think when it goes to the printer, you will get this as part of your subscription. So everything Malsonia does is fantastic. So that was an easy back for me on this project and for Friends of Malsonia. So you want to go check that out. Not only that, again, Gabriel Quiroga, friend of the show, reached out and said, hey, did you guys get a copy of this? And I said, hell yes, we got a copy of the Black Rainbow Society, because it's Hell Knight and because it's awesome. And he was like, if you guys want to give one away on the show, just let me know. So fuck yeah, we're going to do that. So after, at some point, when this episode releases, I'm also going to put a post on Blue Sky with the picture of this book. And all you have to do is like that picture. You don't even have to fucking follow us. It'd be nice if you did. But I'm also going to have a link to our Discord server, and you can hop into that and talk to us about the show.
Send us love letters.
Yeah, or hate letters. I don't care. Just
both.
Yeah. But just like the post. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up those likes, and I'm going to count how many there are, and I'm going to roll a dice and count from top to bottom, and whatever number that rolls on, Gavril's going to send you a copy of the Hell Knight expansion, Black Rainbow Society, a very LSD infused Hell Knight expansion. So I'll drop that, I don't know, probably when I drop this, because if you're not live, you won't hear it until I drop that episode anyway. So that's it. So not too bad. That was like 15 minutes. And now we're going to get into Printweaver. Yeah. So Printweaver, a little bit of info on Printweaver. It was originally published on itch on March 25th, 2021, and got an initial print run on Exalted Funeral on March 2nd, 2022. In Printweaver, the player characters called Travelers are decided entirely by their own fingerprints. Travelers are immortal adventurers caught in a loop of infinite revival by the titular Printweavers and their divine duties to Providence. The game is classless and levelless, so Travelers are defined only by their fates. It uses D10 dice pools that are determined by the character's stats, with point management that allows them to stack the odds in their favor. There are tables, charts, and generators of hundreds of scrolls, magic rings, safe havens, and monsters to create, collect, and use on daring travels. You can find Printweaver digitally at nlmorrison.itch.io/print-weaver. We'll make sure, obviously, the links are where the fuck you think links are. And you can also still... You can also still grab it in print on Exalted Funeral. I did check Exalted Funeral. It is still up there, so you can grab it. It's a nice print. I do like it. So definitely go snag that. So we're going to hop into the review now. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Boom. First of all, I mean, the cover's
sells. Great. The art is great, actually. So
yeah. So the cover, we'll get to who did them, but like the interior cover art is is N.L. Morrison, and then the front cover art is Justin McElroy. But it's fantastic. For those that don't know, it's like an off black background, and it's got a left hand reaching in from the left side of the page, and the fingerprints are coming off the page and kind of swirling into a humanoid shape that is like drifting upward slightly over the title that says Print Weaver. I believe that it says N.L. Morrison. It's a gorgeous cover. I mean, it's great. Like the composition, the art, everything about it.
Yeah, it is a really interesting image, and a lot of this this weird kind of floaty ink cloud of fingerprints is carries on through a lot of the art in this book, and it's perfectly appropriate. It looks great.
Yeah, and one thing I really do like very small detail, but if you look, the prints go front and back of the logo. So there's a swirly in front of the E, but if you look at the one that goes behind the I, so it's in between it, I really like that small detail of the swirls in and around the logo. It's really fantastic. So moving on to let me bring up my notes. I do have notes.
I'm not looking at my fingerprints right now or anything. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to me.
Right on the inside cover, there's a nice little kind of intro to the game. It says Print Weaver uses your unique fingerprints to create unique characters in a foreboding world. Print Weaver is inclusive of all fingerprints and hands. It says this handbook is a set of rules for running and playing Print Weaver. There is some expectation of familiarity with concepts from role-playing games and tabletop games in general, but it's your game at the end of the day. I like that. I like when games throw that little bit of this ain't an intro game. You should know what the fuck dice are, you know? I like that way better than this is what a role-playing game is. This isn't going to be your first one. There's some special there's some touchstones that are really cool. Mouse Ritter from Isaac Williams, West Marches from Ben Robbins, Into the Odd from Chris McDowell, Let the Escape from David Perry, Troika from Daniel Sell, Dark Souls from FromSoft, and the Oracle series from Nintendo and Capcom. Fonts used. I love when books do a fonts used. Writing and layout is from N.L. Morrison. Editing and development by Matt Kay, and then the cover art from Justin McElroy. It's great. Table of contents. So first and foremost, let's talk about what we always talk about on this page. Do we have hyperlinks and bookmarks? Let's see.
No.
Bookmarks? Nope. Hyperlinks? Nope. Unfortunate. It is an 80 plus. It's an 80-page game. So as far as a PDF goes, even just hyperlinks would be great. And I know the game came out originally in 2021. I mean, bookmarks existed. It would be nice. It just navigability. Obviously, it is a huge thing about our usability score is being able to navigate the PDF. So that sucks. But they do a thing that I really, really like, which is all the table of contents.
Oh, they do?
They do all over this thing. They do kind of like what Troika did, which is every section, there's 1 determined by fate, and there's 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. So it does make the navigability of the book much, much, much better, which is really fantastic. I love that. I love when games do that. We love when games do that. It's good stuff. So in the table of contents, we have determined by fate, inventory, how to play, combat, survival, death and revival, magic, running the game, encounters, monstrata, and then appendix A and B are scrolls and rings, and then claromancy in the back, which is a fun game we'll get to. But we'll start with this actually they do the PDF is sometimes PDFs are just page, and sometimes one is specifically somehow coded to be a title page, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when you go to a 2-page view, it will still keep the title page as 1 page, which is really, really nice, because then you get a nice 2-page spread and we don't have to add the page in, which is cool. So a lot of the book has these really cool thing where they do this 2-page spread where there's one page and then half of another page and then writing on the side, which is what I'm showing now on the preface 0 page. And I like the way that they do that throughout the entire book as we go, because, you know, we pretty much just look in pages. You won't see it too much, but it does do that a couple times through where it kind of links the spread across, which is really cool. Let's go back to here. So I'm going to do a little bit of the reading in the front. This is a game that's like got hints of lore in it, right? There's a little bit of lore in the beginning, there's a little bit of a story, and then through the rules they introduce a little bit more lore. You're not going to find like a giant lore section. There's not going to be a lore book for this, and I love that. It's not an implied setting because the setting is there, but it's just enough to get you up and going, which I really like. But there's a little bit
really need a ton of lore past like the kind of like spark for this. Like really this is a world that your characters will affect greatly, and the lore you guys will build is based on your own game. So
yeah, I mean, even the way that you play all of it and the monsters you create and stuff, even your safe havens are all stuff that you create, which is really, really cool. But there's a bit of a narrative here, and then and I'm just going to read stuff. So your lantern cuts through the dark mists. The forest path twists as you see your own blood leading into the brush. You're hopelessly lost and wounded. As the forest floor gives way to rough stone, the walls of an abandoned castle becoming quickly apparent, your lantern flickers out. You struggle to light it as you feel sharp claws pierce your flesh once more. Your vision fills with inky darkness, and you awaken again, safe within the walls of a shrine. This is the third time you have died. Love that. Love that. That really hit you right. Oh, the third time I died. Cool. And then you get the actual like stuff to play the game, right? In the downtrodden enclaves of human civilization, a few survivors lead paranoid and weary lives. Rarely does someone venture outside the walls of a safe haven that is apart from a select group of chosen individuals, the immortal wanderers, the travelers, the players, you guys. Basically says you know that the travelers are fated to be that because of their print marks, their fingerprints. Whatever traveler's fate, for most folk, it's better that the travelers die in the misty wilderness rather than themselves. And when the traveler is born, their guardians, bereft of swelling with pride, take them to a print weaver. These women watch over shrines to Providence that foresee and provide from their humble shrines. They facilitate revival and predict the rule of newborn travelers. And they have phylacteries full of precious ink we'll get to. Ink is a big thing in this game. What was the other game that had like a lot of ink situation?
That is the Electrum Archive.
Electrum Archive, yeah.
I thought about that when I started reading this. I was like, what's the other one? I was like, oh yeah. But very, very wildly different, though.
Yeah. So that's kind of the game. So basically the world sucks. And sometimes travelers are born that are taken to print weavers. And they are then imbued with some stuff that allows them to revive anytime they die in a very Souls-like way. So those travelers are the ones that are sent kind of out into the wilderness to kind of expand, find stuff, do whatever. Because if you die, you just come back. But I mean, it doesn't mean it don't hurt, I bet, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I still imagine you feel being stabbed. But also, I love the title of Traveler. And I like its use here. It feels good. It sounds cool, which I think maybe the most important thing. So
yeah, well, obviously, I mean, but it does say that almost everyone in the world just sticks in safe havens only, and it's just travelers that travel, so it makes sense that they're called travelers. So,
whoa,
right. So the number one, determined by fate. So this is talking about the print marks. Print marks means like your fingerprints. So print weaver, seldom of words, takes your hand and presses each finger into a pool of ink. You got fingerprints. They give you powers, right? There are three kinds of prints. There are the loop, the arch, and the whirl. The loop is for strength. That's for fighters, knights, barbarians. It's the most common. Definitely the most common for me. Then you get the arch, which is for willpower. That's going to be your leaders, sorcerers, and scholars. This is the rarest. And then the third is the whirl. This represents dexterity. And this is for like rangers, rogues, things like that. And there's some art here on the page. I do believe all of the internal illustrations are done by N.L. Morrison. I like the style. It's very interesting. There's some other pages that are very It's like white on black instead of black on white, and then it just looks really neat. But you got 3 figures here. I will say, I don't know when I brought this up. We don't need to bring it up now. So that's basically the print marks. You got loops, you got arches, and you got whorls, right? So then you get to your attribute scores, which are the 3 things I just talked about, right? You got strength, will, and dexterity. So Hunter's going to make a character as we go through this, which is what we like to do on character creation. So we're going to make a character using the character creation, because honestly, we've talked about this before. The character creation in this is the bright spot. It is, I mean, the game is good, but this is really fucking cool. I love the way that they do character creation. So we're going to go through that. So how you do character creation is you count the total marks you have in each attribute by counting your fingerprints and knowing like which finger is which. So for me, that's fucking easy because I got 9 loops and 1 arch. Super easy for me. So how that would work is you record it down, and those are your stats. So let's say you have 6 loops, 4 arches, and 0 whorls. You'd have 6 strength, 4 will, 0 dex. I would have 9 strength, 1 will, 0 dex. What about you? What did you figure out your fingerprints?
Okay, yeah. So I actually have a question. Because I read this rule and I know it's coming up. I have a massive scar over my middle finger.
Oh, so you have an O
fingerprint. I have an O.
Yeah, you have an O. Yeah. We'll get there. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
so I have a strength of 3. I have a will of. Remind me, is it arch? That's will.
Yeah, arches as well.
I have an arch or a will of 3, and then my last is 2, 3. Yeah. Oh yeah, because one of my fingers is scarred. Yeah. So I have 3 in every stat. So perfectly balanced as all things should be.
And then 1 scar.
And then I have 1 scar. So
that's fucking crazy. That I'm literally like 3. All loops.
Yeah, I have weird. Also, I will tell you, I just started a new job where I'm washing my hands a ton. So I lost my hand lotion I normally have. I can't find it. My hands look like garbage. I also rock climb. So this, I started doing this last night, and I gave up. And so I was just finishing now. It was I got bad hands right now. Don't hold my hands right now, Ryan. They'll feel gross.
I'm loops for days. You can't tell. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so you have 3, 3, 3, and then we'll figure out the O. So you also have a derived attribute, which is your vitality. So you're going to roll, and this is a measure of your general toughness and stuff. We'll get to why that matters. It's kind of the way that like hit protection works and like into the odd stuff. So you roll 1d10. So first of all, roll your d10.
I rolled a 5.
Okay. And then you add your strength score.
An 8.
And then half your dex.
Half your dex, right. Yeah.
It doesn't say roll up or down.
It doesn't. I noticed that.
No. I mean, do whatever. I don't care. You know what I mean? I would say go down, you know.
So would I.
So we'll call it a 9. Yeah, call it a 9. Okay, so there is a gray box here. I like the use of gray boxes. So some people have more or less than 10 fingers. An O represents an accidental, scarred, calloused, or missing print mark. The question mark represents any other finger in the pair, because we're going to get to pairs of fingers in a second. So those with more print marks gain additional attribute scores, but no more items. So you don't get more attribute scores, right? Unless it comes through in the items later. Because like you don't. No, you're exactly like the person down here. They got 3, 3, 3 with an O.
Oh yeah. Hey,
okay. Well. You are the example. That's great. Okay, so
no
before
way.
we get to that,
wait, am I literally exactly the example? Oh, not quite. Okay, well, never mind. I got excited there for a second, but we're missing the same. We have the same obscured finger at least. So
there you go. That's obscured. So starting equipment, we'll hit this first, and then we'll get to the sheet and stuff. So before the print weaver lays gifts you need to fulfill your fate. So what you do after you figure out your fingerprints is you pair them off, left and then right. So your left thumb, your right thumb, make a pair, write that down. If it's a loop, write an L. If let's say your left thumb is a loop and your right thumb is a whorl, you'd write LW for thumb. Boom, right?
My left thumb is a loop and my right thumb is a whorl. How did you know, bro?
I know you, bro. I know you.
It's because we hold hands so much.
Yeah, because we're so close to each other all the time. One thing that I did want to say as we go through this, the examples throughout are like really well done, concise examples. Like when I was talking before about for example, if you have 6 loops, 4 arches, 0 whirls, they do that all the time. They don't wait until later. They don't give you a big thing. They're just like, do this. This is how you do it. I really like the concise language that they used in order to do that. So you come up with all of your pairs, and then we're going to go to a gifts table. We're going to talk about the gifts table a little bit. But I already gave you an example. And then on top of that, everyone also starts with a glass vial containing 100 drops of ink. We'll talk about why ink matters in a little bit. 5 torches. After an encounter, roll a chance die, which is on 3.3. Again, not hyperlinked, but it is like a very specific, like tells you exactly what section and paragraph to go to. So I do like that. On a success, the torch goes out. And then you get a sleeping roll. So 5 torches, some ink, and a sleeping roll on top of the items that you get. So let's look at this character sheet real quick. So I really love this like example sheet. So at the top, it gives you literally fingerprints of what a loop looks like, what an arch looks like, and what a whirl looks like, which I think is fantastic. Because some people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about here? So you actually get pictures of the fingerprints, which is great. And then you get 2 hands with fingerprints on them, and they're all labeled whirl, whirl, arch, arch, loop, loop, and then obscured, one is missing. Another great thing here. And then you get what would be the character sheet, which shows 3 strength, 3 will, 3 dex. They got vitality 10, which I think you got vitality 9, and then they got the obscure, which is an enforced shroud. They get a gift for that. Which we'll get to.
I thought that was obstacle for that one because it's your defense, right? Oh, maybe it is obscured. I can't remember what the acronyms right now.
That OB is a typo. Because hi, I assume it should be 2. Got it. Okay. Apparently we have the creator in a chat right now, which is why we still do this live, just in case every now and then they are here. So welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome. And we're looking at your game. Cool. So what's going to happen next is you have all your pairs.
I do.
Oh, please.
I do have all of my pairs. So.
Cool. So we're going to go through that, and then I'm going to talk about some things that are read in my notes. So you got gifts of the loop, which are laid before you as objects of great strength. And then it's got these 3 really cool, like quasi stained glass-ish kind of looking, like they're frames.
Yeah.
And then there's images of people in them. And it's got a knight, a cleric, and a ranger. And it's got listed like LL, LA, LW. So obviously loop, 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 arch, loop, whirl. And then the next page is gifts of the arch, which is for magic potential, and it's got druid, mage, and warlock. Then gifts of the whirl, laid before you are objects of exquisite skill, and it's assassin, bard, and thief.
Exquisite.
And then gifts of the obscure, laid before you are blessings of unknown power, and it's phantom, fireborn, and seraph. So we're gonna go through all of your items. Or gifts from the print weaver to get your character, and then talk about something. So what is your thumb?
So let's you want to just go through like by sections, or do you want to do
it's in order.
Yeah. So so
what's your thumb?
Thumbs are LW. I have a loop and a whirl.
So you got the chainmail.
Yeah, so I got chainmail.
Cool.
And then my pointer is also LW, so I have a short bow.
Okay.
And then that's those 2 fingers. And then my middle fingers is LO because I have an obscured one.
Oh, so we're gonna go all the way down to the gifts of the obscure. So LO would be $O.
So 1,000 drops of ink.
Shit, you could do you start with 1,100 drops of ink. All right.
Yeah. And then my ring finger is going to be WA, which is going to be under gifts of the whirl. It'll be under bard, and I have a ring of song while singing, which we all know I'm great at. You grant advantage on all checks to allies in earshot. I'm the bard.
There you go.
And then my little finger is going to be under gifts of the arch, and I have an AA, which is under mage. And I have pipe root. Lights small fires without fail. Touching it to a dead body incinerates it, leaving only its possessions.
Sick. So that's you. That's what you start with.
Yeah.
Okay. So
pretty cool, you know?
I like it.
It's fun.
It is really fun. I do like that. For me, really easy. Considering that I'm LL. Like I basically down. There's one thing that's not. Which one is my arch? My pointer is LA. So I get all knight stuff, and instead of a long sword, I get a stone mace. So my strength is out the ass. I think my vitality, if I roll a d10, it's literally like it's my strength plus like half my deck, so I get like the entire thing. So here's a little bit of beef I have with this section. First, one thing that I find interesting that games do a lot is they'll put information on an itch page that's not in the book. So when you look at the itch page for this game, there's a lot of information. A lot of what I said in the beginning is the itch page. So if we bring that up real quick, it says on the itch page, it says player characters are called travelers, they're immortal, but it says D10 dice pulls, which we still haven't read in the game anywhere. Again, we've talked about this before, like having at least an understanding what the core mechanic is before we get to character creation would be nice. It would be nice if this was in here, but it's not. But it does say that it says classless and levelless travelers are defined only by their fates. At no point in the game anywhere does the word classless come into it. Nowhere does levelless come into it. It'd be nice to have that even on like the back of the book or in the front of the book or anything. My issue with the whole classless thing, because you're not picking a class, right? But if you go through the beginning, when we hit the 1-1 print mark section, the first mark, the loop, it says it embodies fighters, knights, barbarians, the arch, leaders, sorcerers, scholars. Those are very class. That's very class language.
Very classy. Yeah.
In Teach RPGs, right? And then when we get to gifts, I don't understand I think the art is cool for all of the pages, but what does knight have to do? Why is there knight? Why are there classes listed above every gift? There's 12 classes listed in here, but you don't get a class. And at no point is that associated with the gifts that you choose. If it's just like an example narrative thing, it would be nice to just say that. But like, for example, like 4 out of 5 of mine are knight, so I'd be like, okay, well, I'm a knight, right? Yes. But it's a classless game, even though it doesn't say it's a classless game.
A lot of times with games that are like classless, it means there's not really a restriction to what you can and cannot do or wield, less so that like you fit into a defined like party niche, you know. I would still say that I feel fine with saying this is classless. It has like referential language to it, and if you decide to play your guy as a knight, that's fine. But if I have nothing for magic, but if I get a bunch of scrolls and magic rings, like I'm fucking casting, baby, you know?
I completely agree with you. My issue is that nowhere in the book did it say it's classless.
Right.
And the itch
a
page
little blurb
does.
At the beginning that just says this is a D10 dice pull system.
Yeah.
A classless D10 dice pull system would be cool.
Well, my thing is, if you get to these pages not knowing that it's a classless game, and then you read all of this, do you go, so am I a knight? Where do I write that on my character sheet? Most of my items are knight. There's just no direction that it is classless, and that these are maybe just examples based on like if you get a bunch of gifts for it. You know what I mean? Like that's my issue. Not that it's classless. I love that. I love that your inventory is your class. It's very into the odd and, you know, very carny and stuff like that. But there's no direction whatsoever. But it talks about classes again. numerous times, and then it has pictures for all the classes, has bolded names for classes, and then gives you a list of stuff that are associated with classes, and never tells you these are just examples, do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? That's my issue isn't what it does, other than it's great. It's a little bit of a lack of communication on the fact that it is classless and these are just examples or something. That's my issue. I think there's just a little bit of friction between, hey, this is classless, but also here's a picture of a knight and the giant word knight and all these items related to knights, but you're not a knight because you're classless. You know what I mean? But I love the way that they do it. It's just that little bit of lack of communication. So that is that's the character that you made. The obscure ones did you see any gifts in any of these that really stuck out to you?
Oh, well, I was looking at the Seraph one because that's where I fit. I was like, fuck, bro. My pointer finger was scarred instead. I have a sunlight blade. Give me that, dude.
Bro, the obscured ones, obviously, like, first of all, I love that it's very inclusive, right? Like scarred fingers, missing fingers, like all that kind of stuff is great. I mean, realistically, if you don't have a hand, you would just get all O's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anyone can play this game, and I really, really like that there was a like obvious thought into being like, hey, like what if someone doesn't have a finger? And my curiosity is like, when this was very first a thought in the head, like, was that, or did someone be like, hey, what about people that don't have fingers? It's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious. But obviously the O's are fucking fantastic. I mean, the 1,000 drops ink, everyone gets that across the middle, but they each, like, they're all very similar and just in a different way. So like Phantom has a pitch blessing, Seraph has a radiant blessing. For Littlefinger, Phantom has a dark orb, Seraph has a light orb, the Fireborn has a fire orb. They're so fucking cool.
Yeah. Also, we'll get to it, but I can't tell you how much I personally love just the concept in general of magic rings. And how defining they can be, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So Anna Morrison said it was a natural result of the system playing out in real life, which is reasonable. Like I'm sure someone was just like, shit, I have a scar. You're like, okay, well, we got to put that in. That's great. But I love, again, the intentionality of the design to incorporate everybody and be inclusive. It's awesome. Inventory. We're still working on getting your characters going. It says the world is a dangerous place. Travel light and take only what is necessary to survive. What's the Zelda line?
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
There you go. So weapons and armor. We're going to get into weapons and armor. So there are 4 categories of weapons and armor. You get light, heavy, medium, and ink armor. And the way that works is armor has an obstacle number.
That's going to be your thinking of.
Yeah, that'll be your difficulty number, basically. The other game is just obstacle number. There's some slight tweaks in language in here that are close enough, but still different enough. So obstacle number is where you're going to look for instead of like difficulty class or like DCs or anything. So each armor type and weapon type is going to give you, well, armor will give you an obstacle number and the number of slots it takes. And the difference between weapons and armor within the same category is narrative only. It says like heavy mail versus like a holy cuirass doesn't make a difference mechanically, but if you're drowning, like, you don't want to be in heavy mail. And I like that, like the lean into the narrative. So there are tables here for armor, weapons, ranged weapons and stuff, which gives you distances. We'll go over in a little bit. The weapons have the number of hands that they use. And the way that armor works, so light is OB1, medium is OB2, and it takes 2 slots. Heavy is OB3, it takes 4 slots. And ink is OB1 or 3, obstacle 1. So yeah, the way weapons work is we'll get to it in combat. But if you have it's an attribute plus a D10. Or a number of D10. So light is dexterity plus 1d10, medium is strength or dex plus 2d10. So it's D10s throughout the entire thing, and you just basically add your attributes. And then armor obstacle is the things that has to be rolled to hit you and things. We'll get to that we'll get to more of this in combat. So slot and item sizes, you brought this up. You get 2 ring slots. You can have 2 rings. As you said, they can help define you as a character. It's the only things that you keep when you die. When you die, everything just left where you die. And again, in a very Souls-like way, you're reincarnated as a shrine, and the only thing you got on you naked as the day you were born. You got 2 rings.
But my 2 pinky rings are still on me.
That's it. So I got. Hey, it doesn't say where the slots are. Rings can go. So. You got a toe ring, buddy. So pack slots. 10 pack slots. And if you need to remove something in a hurry, and I love this. I love when inventory matters in this way. You roll a d10 and you have to roll equal to successfully retrieve the item if you roll above or equal to the slot the item takes up. Mm-hmm. So you have to actually pack your pack and how quickly you want to get stuff out. I love when systems do that. This does it in a very quick way. I really like it.
Yeah. Clever use of a dice pool and the hits or successes in that regard.
Yeah. Remember, armor takes up a number of slots depending on the category. So here's my question in this kind of system, because it doesn't specifically say if you have something that takes up 4 slots, right? Would
exactly.
You put it as
my answer
1,
is
2,
yes.
3, 4.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so if you roll any 1 through 4, then you get it, right? Or would you say you have to roll higher than the highest number?
Wait, I'm sorry. Like,
okay. Let's say you have heavy armor in your pack, and it is number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and at number 5 you have like a scroll.
Right.
Okay. In order to get the heavy armor out, would you say, since it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, that any of those numbers would get it, or that only number 4 would get it?
I would say that any of those numbers get it. So
any of the numbers get it, not the highest number.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, that's something that I wouldn't mind a little bit of clarification on, because I think it'd be interesting if it takes up multiple slots, that the highest slot is one that you have to beat.
My thought process, my internal process for this is if I reach into my bag and I'm really quickly reaching in and I touch the item, I can pull it out. I don't need to scoop under it to pull it out. But if I want to get under that item, I do need to reach past it. So if I can get my hand on the item at all, and I can pull it out. That's my internal logic.
That's extremely reasonable. So then you just have to beat the lowest number, and that I like that. I like that. It does say above or equal to the slot number. Yes, but if it's 4 or equal to, I think the equal to makes it. Yeah. If it's 4 slots in the one, yeah. So it's any of the slots, not like the highest one. I would just be mean to say the highest one, but that's just me. But your explanation makes total sense. Is like you just have to get to it. You don't need to get to the end of it, which I like that a lot. Okay, ink.
I play tabletop games.
Yeah. Ink is super valuable. It's the most valuable resource that there is. And it comes from monster blood. And we'll get to, in chapter 10, we'll get to a section on how to harvest the ink, but it's extremely important. It is both a currency and a valuable tool for protection. 1 drop equals 1 gold. And then basically the way that you can expand your entire game is through ink. You can protect your camp with ink. You turn it into settlements and shrines and everything with ink. We'll get to that a little bit more, but ink is a core aspect, a deeply, deeply core aspect of the game. Kill monsters, take their blood, make ink, and then you can protect yourself. And your gifts at the start of the game are ink imbued. But if you're fighting ink imbued, ink sodden creatures with mundane weapons that aren't ink imbued, they're not going to do a whole lot of damage, not going to put a whole lot of work in. But you can go to print weavers to get things ink imbued. So that's it. For every 100 drops of ink consumed, you gain 1 vitality, but it builds up in your body over time. After 1,000 drops, you drop to 0 and fall unconscious. But then after a rest, it goes away. I love the build-up mechanic. I think that's really, really great. I think over like a longer expansion in time, and you're actually tracking how much ink you have between settlements and things like that, it's such a fun mechanic, especially if you're using it to try to heal yourself constantly. I like it. It's a fun little thing to throw in there. I'm glad it's in there. So we're getting to the how to play section, chapter 3, attribute checks. Attribute checks are a thing. You need to do them, and then you do. So the way that it works is there are 3 phases through the way that you do attribute checks. You declare your intent. And when you declare your intent, is exactly what you think it is. You say, hey, I want to do this thing. And then you select a relevant attribute, and then you would roll. Prior to rolling, the GM will tell you the possible risks So you accept the risks when you decide to roll. So this is deeply steeped in the OSR. It's very much like
deeply deep in the OSR.
Yeah, so deep. Give the player all the information. You're deciding what attribute to do. The GM's telling you what could go wrong, so that when you do roll, if you do fail, you know exactly what's going to go wrong, right? And I really like that. We should probably throw a couple of those 5e things in there, but like it's so dumb to like not know what DCs are, to like guess how well you did, to then just like make up shit. I don't know. It's just the OSR style of doing that is just better in my opinion. So obstacles and rolling. Once you accept the risks, there is no turning back. You roll a number of d10s equal to your attribute score. So your strength is 3. You would roll 3d10, and you have to hit 6 or higher. So 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 is a success. It's an interesting success pool. I rolled up a bunch. It feels really, really good. You know how sometimes we play games that it's like it's a d6 and you have to get a 6 and it's fucking impossible. You can roll 18 d6s and not hit a 6.
Yeah.
I really liked the way that the math rolled out for 6 or higher on a d10, especially in a dice pool. You compare the successes to the obstacle number set by the GM, and you do it or you don't. You know, I like that. There is a table here for some guidance on the obstacle numbers. I get, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but like, what if you rolled a 3? My assumption is that it's 1 through 3 is easy, 4 and 5 are moderate, 6 and 7 are difficult, 8 and 9 are heroic, 10 is nigh impossible. Yeah. I think ranges there might have been like a little bit better than just the even numbers because of those mid numbers, but it's whatever. I mean, it gets the job done. And then resolution. If the number of successes rolled is good, you succeed. If it's bad, then the risk you already talked about occurs. And that's the core mechanic of the game. You make a character based on your fingerprints. Those fingerprint numbers give you your attribute scores. You roll d10s equal to those scores. Boom. I like it. It's simple. It's clean. It's fun. That's basically the game. We only have 70 more pages to go. So mitigating rolls, you get advantage and disadvantage, and I really think this is interesting. For advantage, the range of success just goes from 5 to 10 now, and then disadvantage it's 7 to 10. No more dice or anything. It's only the pools that you roll, but it changes it. How do you feel about that?
Good. I think it's good. I think it feels fairly statistically significant.
Yeah. I like it a lot. It's really clean, not having to add even more dice to your pool. Because how would you roll a dice pool with advantage? You know what I mean? Just give one more dice or something?
Yeah. This, or I'd let you re-roll a certain number of dice. But that sounds, that's actually more, I feel like this is still cleaner than that option.
That's exactly what it is. This is like the cleanest way to do it. Is like, you're not rolling any more dice. You're not figuring out how many more you need to roll. It's not like Texas Hold'em where you're keeping 2 and re-rolling 3 of them. I feel like this is like the cleanest, simplest way to make a statistically important change in what you're doing without literally having to do anything else except for adding or subtracting like one more number off the dice, which is great. I really like this a lot, actually. I think there are some other dice pool games that could instead really use this.
Yeah, take a note from this. Yeah, probably should have read this before they wrote their dice pool game. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of dice pools this year. 2025, I think, is the year of the dice pool for us.
Yeah.
Chance die. Basically, I don't have any decks. Right. So if you're forced, right. If you're forced to make the check with 0 dice, you get to roll 1d10 with disadvantage. But if you roll a 10, you get to roll another one, and you keep doing that until you stop rolling 10. So I love that chance explodes.
Yeah, exploding chance die is pretty cool.
Yeah. Attribute points. Basically, every amount of attribute you have. So if I have like 9 loops, so I have 9 strength. I would also have 9 points in strength. And I could add that 2 rolls after the fact. I mean, strength would be a shitty one to do because that's literally like a thing that you do a lot of stuff with. But it's the only thing I got. So basically, you can spend any amount of strength, will, or dex points to add an equal amount of dice to your strength, will, or dex. So, I mean, we'll get to how you can add dex in a little bit. But so for strength, you're only adding strength points to strength. You also have a attribute points fluctuate frequently from damage or aid in this way, but your attribute score remains unchanged. So the score doesn't matter. You'd have like a point pool equal to it. My thought here is that you're adding. Are you adding dice? Are you adding successes? Like, how did you read how you're actually using the points?
I was kind of hoping that you were going to elaborate on this one.
Yeah. So they explain what happens when you add dex later, but in this specific paragraph here, there is no explanation of like what you get when you add it, right? Maybe I'm completely wrong. For example, if you have 4 strength, you also have 4 strength pool available to boost strength. Attribute points fluctuate, right? But it doesn't say you get like 1 more success, you get 1 more dice. Well,
you're talking about spending the points, right? They add dice to your pool.
Right. That's my assumption, is they add dice to your pool.
No, it says for after rolling a check, you may spend any amount of strength below dex points to add an equal amount of dice to your check.
Oh, well then, yeah, I'm a fucking idiot and I just didn't read that part. Easy peasy. So if you spend 2 strength, you get to add 2 more dice to the pool. There's a reason I didn't put it in red here. And it's because I read that before and I just became dumb this time. I like that. What is the other game that we had where you had like points that can manipulate rolls? Was it
I'm sure there's one.
What's the World War I game that we did?
Boy, we've done a lot of games.
Charlie Ferguson Avery?
Oh God, what was that game? I'm a bad game rememberer.
Anyway, I like that you have these points where you can manipulate it. Like, but at the same way, like your spending potential, like your pool is important. So if you spend it just to change your dice, it could bite you in the ass later. So you really need to decide if you need that success or not. I can't believe I'm completely blanking on the name of that game.
I'm scrolling through our episodes right now. So
it was recently. Anyway, as you do that, contested checks. Guess what?
Never going home.
There you go. The whole 1+ system had manipulation. I like that. Anyway, contested checks work exactly like you think you do. You roll against each other. Ties, you roll a d10, highest goes. Combat. The way combat works. Initiative. Everyone rolls dex, and you add up sides. And whoever has the highest side dex goes first. Easy peasy.
So for you, that would be a chance die.
Nothing. Right? I would get a chance die every time. Yeah. So unless I rolled a lot of 10s, I'm fucked. But it would be my dex plus your dex. We would roll our dex, add it together. If we go first. And the way that it works is it's one side. So like one side's whole shit happens at the same time, and one side's whole shit happens at the same time. Combat time, rounds and turns. It's how a game works. A lot of the stuff we're getting into now is like very much the OSR. Like there's not a lot of stuff that's going to be like crazy outside what you think it is. Actions and free actions, guess what? They're exactly what you think they are. You get a move and an action per turn, and a free action is like dropping something or talking to someone. That's it. Movement is a reasonable distance. I love this.
I really like that. I'm like, Bill, don't codify it more than I need to, because this isn't a grid-based game, so I don't really like.
Yeah, but if you do play on a grid, you move a number of tiles equal to your dex score plus 3. Well, fuck me, I move 3. That's it. So I like that. It's so great. And it basically, like, you go far enough, and if you start to feel like you're going too far, it becomes your action, and then you can go farther. You know what I mean? Like, it's so nice. There's no, like, there's games that have an entire page. It does.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Anytime a game has like, oh, if you play on a grid, I'm like, nah. Like,
listen, I don't.
No, like grid games are fun, but if I'm running a game, I will 9 out of 10 times choose to not run it on a grid before. I
completely agree. I don't mind grid, and especially like I think grids for war games are actually really nice.
Grids for war games is different.
Measure. Yeah, but yeah, ranges are so nice.
Yeah. You move a reasonable distance. You bet. I know exactly what that is.
Sounds great. Yeah.
I'm a person who's lived in the world. So
yeah, enemy distance, exactly what you think it is. You got close. Guess what? I'm sorry, even closer. You got engaged. Yeah, you're affianced. You're hand to hand. Close is across the room, and then distant is across the field. I've described that in like some, whatever, as like if you're in like a sword swing, a dagger throw, or an arrow shot. And that's basically what this is. Engage, close, or distant. And I love the little piece of art at the bottom. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
so
it's a great piece of art.
It's a great piece of art.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a dude with a bow, kind of behind like a log or a small fortification, and behind them is someone fixing to stab them in the back with like a dagger raised, and it says engaged above them. They're shooting up at birds in the far distance, and so it says distant there. And then there are some like wolves, or like I'm gonna call them wolves, closing in on the person shooting, and it says they're close. And it's just such a great.
This, yes, love.
It's great. It's very much, this gives me Edward Gorey. Have you ever seen like Edward Gorey? Like A is for Alice who fell down the stairs, B is for Basil assaulted by bears.
Nope.
Okay. Well, read Edward Gorey, specifically that book, and it's this like shit that's fixing to happen a second before it does. So like A is for Alice, eaten by bears, whatever, and the bears are like right fixing to like snag onto her. Yeah. There's one of those girls like airborne falling down the stairs, but she hasn't fallen yet. So it's a moment right before like bad shit happens. And I feel like that's exactly what this entire scene is. Like the bird's gonna get shot, he's gonna get stabbed, the wolves are gonna close in. Like it's just great. It's a great little graphic. It's one of my favorite pieces in the entire book, and it's like the smallest illustration.
But it's funny because it's like so utilitarian of a graphic that it works so well in an explanation. Like that's an explanation that you see and you're like totally understand. That's perfect.
Love it. Opportunity attacks, which are called actions of opportunity in here. So if you're engaged with an enemy, so if you're in melee range with an enemy and you do anything besides melee combat, you automatically grant the enemy an action of opportunity, an AOO, an out of turn action targeting you. So should the creature take damage before their action of opportunity during the same turn, it is unable to take an action of opportunity until the start of its next turn. So that is probably the most tracking that this game has, is knowing if the enemy has already taken damage that turn or not. Because if you're engaged with somebody and someone hits that enemy, you can then do something else without giving them that free attack, which I think is interesting and not hard. It's not hard to track. I mean, just know, hey, that one got hit already, But that's like I said, there's not a whole lot to track in this, especially for players. So, attack and damage. This is why you don't want to use strength up on all of your stuff, right? The way attacking works is you roll just like everything else. It is an attribute check, just like anything. So, but you just roll. Then roll the attribute check associated with the weapon plus the dice pool bonus for the weapon. The example, again, great examples. For strength plus 3d10 for heavy weapons, you just roll 7d10, right? Dual wielding grants you 2 attacks on one target in a single action, but both rolls are at disadvantage. So you get 2 attacks, but you're rolling 7 to 10s, not 6 to 10s. And then the number of successes above the target's obstacle is the amount of damage you deal. I love that. It's one of my favorite. It's like it's a little bit Tunnel Goons. It's a little bit Maze Rats, where like do damage, and if you're above, that's your damage. Like that's it. It's so clean. It's so easy, and I really like the way that they did the weapons as D10s, and then you just add your modifiers. The weapon is basically just is adding to your dice pool, and then your successes are that. So. I think this is when I started rolling examples. I was like, what does 7d10 give me? Oh, that's like 4 successes. I'm like, that's great.
It's like a really incredibly almost like intuitive way to do damage for dice pools. Once again, it's like another one of the rules in this game. I'm like, this is a very clean way to run this in dice pools. It makes a lot of sense. You understand it immediately. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. Very good.
I don't know. This a lot of the game, like I said, is just very much like the OSR. It works like how you think it works. But then, like, the core mechanic and the way that, obviously, character generation, but, like, this dice pool system with advantage, disadvantage, and the way weapons work is so clever and so clean. Again, it very much reminds me of, like, the first time I read Maze Rats, and I was like, oh, like I said, like, it's your target is 7, and if you roll a 9, you do 2 damage. You're just like, oh, That's so easy. You don't even have to roll damage rolls. It's just like you get what you get, you know? I love it. It's so clean. It's so easy. Like you said, it feels very intuitive. It's just like, oh, like they were a 6 and I rolled an 8. Dope, 2 damage. Unless otherwise noted, all damage is physical damage dealt directly to strength. So I got a big pool of strength. I'm beefy. I'm slow as fuck. But I'm beefy with my 9 strength and my 9 points of strength that I can spend. So when your strength drops to 0, any subsequent damage is dealt directly to vitality. Again, very much in like a hit protection into the odd kind of way. But I'll tell you right now, I love into the odd. The thing that I will hate till the day I die is hit protection. Literally call it anything else. Yeah. It's HP, but it's not health. Like, and that's what drives me nuts. Like they needed to use literally any armor protection, like anything else. Yeah, anything. So I like that this is strength there.
There's luck actually, but
some types of damage reduce will or dex, whatever. When your vitality is reduced to 0, you are rendered unconscious. If an ally does not take an action to stabilize you by the end of the next round, you die. You get one round. That's it. But again, you're fucking immortal.
Yeah, I would
say so it doesn't matter.
You die. Yeah, your stuff gets. We'll get there. So.
Yeah. So critical hits, super easy. It's number, instead of like successes, it's number of 10s. So if you roll a dice pool with amount of 10s equal to or higher than the obstacle, you inflict a crit. So if someone's obstacle, value is only 3 and you roll 3 10s, you crit them. And there's actually a crit table here at the bottom. I will say, it says if a critical hit effect asks the target to make a check, the OB is equal to the amount rolled in the attack. So there's critical hits here, and there's a critical hit table. And like, obviously, we're not dumb. We know that you would just use a critical hit table, but like, it doesn't ever actually say like, hey, there's a critical hit table. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an interesting. This game is very sleeked down in ways that like I think every now and then like one extra line of like 5 words wouldn't be terrible, but I also like the warning in the beginning that says, you know how games fucking work. So, for example, physical damage, attribute targeted strength, critical hit effect, double damage. Like, I love that. But there's a whole section here on damage types. There's a bunch. And there are physical, light, dark, fire, cold, lightning, thunder, poison, psychic, ghost.
Ghost.
Ghost types. I was like, did they just copy paste the Pokemon types in here? Where's grass damage?
We're missing emotional damage, in my opinion.
Yeah. So. I'm not missing that at all, buddy. I got plenty of it. Critical hit effects, all of your standard stats, strength, dex, will, is double damage. And then all of the other ones are conditions. We'll get into conditions in just a second. So ink imbuement, we talked about this already. You need ink imbued weapons for ink sodden monsters, and you can get those handled by print weavers to get imbue your shit. But all your starting gifts have ink. Mundane attacks, if you're using a non-ink soaked weapon on an inky creature, when attacking monsters unarmed or with mundane weapons, you use strength or dex, but you only deal 1 damage no matter what. That's it. Sucks for you.
Sorry, magical monsters need a magical weapon, you know?
Yeah. It says you can use magic channeled into unarmed attacks using will, but it costs you will to do it every time, as if you're casting a scroll. I like that basically, like, you could roll 10 10s, doesn't fucking matter. You do 1 damage because it's an ink creature, you know what I mean? It's great. Love that. Parrying is interesting. Like, this is another one of those little add-ons, and I'm like, this is fucking cool. If your attack success equals exactly an OB, and I double checked, I went back and I was like, wait a minute, isn't attacks equal to or greater than? No, it's not. And nowhere do they say that. It's above the obstacle value, because if you land exactly on the OB, you deal no damage, and the defending creature gains an action of this is a weird language, though I did want to talk about. This is a red thing in here. The defending creature gains an action of opportunity parrying the attack. However, if the creature fails their parry attack, they fall prone. It's a weird way to write that. Instead of just saying they get a parry, they get an action of opportunity, which must be a parry. Yeah. I feel like that's an extra step that's just unnecessary.
Is there other actions of opportunity in this game that I missed?
Action of opportunity is literally anything if it's an attack of opportunity. Like I think you stepped away for a second. The way actions of opportunity work is if we're engaged in combat,
right.
If I do anything that's not melee combat, you automatically get an action of opportunity.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
So I just think this is a weird one. Like, it's fine. It works 1,000,000%.
I kind of get it. It falls under the same umbrella of like that thing. And
kind of.
This one's a parry. So
yeah, but I just don't think there's any difference between saying instead the defender can parry, and instead the defender gets an action of opportunity, which must be a parry. You know what I mean? I feel like there's like an extra thing in the middle. Like,
well, there's that one rule of game writing called the thing. You know?
Yeah. So if it's just a parry, call it a parry. It doesn't need to be an action of opportunity that is then a parry. You know what I mean?
Fairly unbothered by that. It reinforces a term it's already used in the game, and But I do. It's a little roundabout.
My only I agree. It's like, it's a whatever. Again, it's pedantic as fuck to worry about this, but that's what we do. My only thing would be if someone's like, well, I get an action of opportunity. What if I don't want to parry it? You know what I mean? And then you could be like, well, it says parrying the attack. Someone could be like, I feel like someone could try to make an argument based on that language. You know what I mean? Like, and I would tell them to shut the fuck up, but like, I'm saying they could. But again, super pedantic doesn't really matter. It makes no difference. It works completely fine. Skilled actions. This is a question that I do have, though. Skilled actions. Dex points may be spent at any point during your turn to trigger a single skilled action. This action is in addition to your regular action during a turn. Should a skilled action require a check, such as an attack, it is guaranteed an amount of successes equal to the amount of dex points spent. So, what is a skilled action? Like, give me a skilled action. See, that's my problem. So what a skilled action is, as far as I'm reading it, it's just a bonus. It's just another action. You just get another one.
Right.
You can if you spend at least 1 point of dex, you just get to take another action. I don't know why it's skilled capitalized action, as if it's a different kind of action.
A cool example, an example or two here would be cool. Like, maybe it's like shooting an arrow through a hole to hit a thing. Be a skilled action, you know?
The thing is like, I think it's just any addition. I think it's just an additional action. You know what I mean? Correct. You do take another action. It also grants you the bonus successes. So it is it is just an additional action. So I personally would have just called it an additional action, because calling it a skilled action, capital action, makes me go like, so these are different than actions. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of said the same thing. Well, it's me doing something crazy and fancy. No, it's just another action. So I think just calling it an additional action instead of giving it like its own keyword capitalization because my first thought was, where's the list of skilled actions? Is that a specific type of action that I can do? Is it a different thing? It's not, and that's fine. And I love it. I think it's fucking fantastic, because like it says here, you're deciding, like, if I only spend 1 point, I get the other action and I get 1 guaranteed success. But if I spend 3, I get 3 guaranteed successes.
Yeah. I mean, I only have 3 to spend, so
yeah. I just think, like I said, I think I have none. I have none. I think the use of the capitalization keyword skilled action is slightly confusing when it's just an additional action, when it kind of sounds like it should be a different type of action than a regular action. But I love that. Again, a way to manipulate your rolls. Status conditions, they exist. There's a ton. And all of them go away on death, except for blindness and deafness. That sucks, to wake up blind with nothing but your rings, right? And there's a list of a ton plus all their effects. There's a D10 list of effects, conditions. Blessed, cursed, exhausted, prone, restrained, paralyzed, poisoned, confused, deafened, and blinded, with the effects all listed here, and they're great. So the game, there's only like 20-something pages, so we're almost done with most of the game. Then with the GM stuff.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about waking up blind and deaf with my 2 pinky rings, or my 1 toe ring and 1 pinky ring.
Yeah, your pinky ring and your toe ring. Yeah. It was like, fuck. So survival, there is the Traveler's Path. Basically says there are 4 hexes that you can travel in a day. The Weaver will take care of you, says in a Morrison. There are 4 hexes in a day. It's basically morning, midday, afternoon, and night. You have to sleep. If you travel through all 4 hexes in the day, you get the exhausting condition. I like that. Pick one, take a nap.
I like the time cut up for that. 1 morning, 1 midday, 1 afternoon, and 1 night, because it also like contextually, just for me personally, like watches work fine. But like if my players are doing something, I'm like, cool, the morning's kind of passed you by. That means really you only have 3 hexes you can travel for the rest of the day. It's like, okay, you did something in the morning, you did something in the afternoon. Well, really you get 2 hexes left. For the way that my brain works, this is a lot easier for me to divide up than like 6-hour watches, you know?
I completely agree, because it's not just time, it's distance, like all together in a very simple rule. Like it is really clever. Again, I really like that a lot. Like as you said, like I don't need to worry about how far they can travel anymore, or like how much time passed. The morning passed 3 hexes. That's it. Like I really like that a lot. Like even when we're doing like we're in a lot of the setting sun, like we'll know exactly how many hexes if we fucked around with bandits in the morning, because we have 3 left. But if you do stuff in the morning and you have to sleep at least 1, you know you can only move 2 hexes in a day. So it's like, again, like you said, I really like that it's not only time but also distance in a very concise rule. Setting up camp. Long story short, you need to set it up and you need to ward your camp. It takes 10 drops of ink per person in a continuous circle around your camp to ward it from monsters. It does say don't fuck around too hard though, because some monsters are smart. They'll like ignore it unless you really, really get rowdy, and then they'll still kind of show up. Not all monsters are dumb beasts after all, is what it says. I like that. It's cool. You need to spend your ink. Ink is not a limitless resource. You have to murder animals to get it. Well, monsters to get it. But you have to spend it. Like, you know, as the game says, the world is fucked and almost everyone stays in safe havens except travelers. So you must ward your camp at night. If someone didn't ward their camp, I'd be throwing monsters at them all fucking night long.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Like, no, I don't want to spend a 10 to be sure.
Yeah. And when you're out there, you can only rest in a warded area. And it only works for 1 night, those 10 drops. You can also, after that, in resting, the following timescales are guidelines to recovery. So you get short rest, long rest, and full rest. On a short rest, it's a single night, and you can roll strength, will, and dex checks, restoring a number of successful points. On a long rest, it's 3 full nights, and you get all of your points back, and then you can roll 1d10 to get your vitality back. Again, I think you stepped away for a second, that you can spend ink to get vitality back too. But once you hit 1,000 total ink imbuement, you're knocked out for like a week until it resets. Love that. And then full rest is 2 weeks, and you get everything back. Rest is big deal in this.
Good.
Yeah. A lot of downtime.
I always prefer. I hate 1 night of sleep recovers me completely rules. Yeah. I just even in the games that like are more gamey or even like video gamey tabletop games, I'm like, I guess it's fine there. But anything outside of that, I'm like, no, I want to feel like injury is costly. You know, spending resources cost. Like getting them back completely takes time.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do like about the way that the rest system works too is, without saying it specifically, with the ink rules and vitality and stuff, a single night, you don't recover any vitality.
Yeah.
So if you're just resting for a night and you want vitality back, start chugging that ink, like and you better count every fucking drop, because it's going to build up in you. And I really like that. And I would really encourage players to play up, like, damn, you're over 900 ink. Like, is it squirting out of you? Like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Like, and even on a long rest, even with a 3 nights rest, you only roll a d10. If you roll a 1, that sucks, you know? So like you said,
which, I mean, you can, so
yeah. I think there's just a built-in encouragement also to like kill monsters, get the ink, drink the ink, like risk the ink imbuement. Like, I really like that a lot.
And I mean, I think this next thing we'll speak to, but actually read this next part. Then I'll do it. Yeah,
so permanent outposts. So when travelers find good ground, they can expand their camps into outposts. So 100 drops of ink will expand the camp into an outpost. It takes 100 drops of ink to expand a camp into an outpost per resident. So if you have 5 people moving in, you need 500 drops of ink to make it an outpost. And then residents draw symbols all over everything. If they miss anything, that's a risk. But that's how that works. So having it ink imbued and warded protects it from monsters, allowing for a proper night's rest and future prosperity. And then that's kind of how you play the game. We'll get into a little bit more in the GM section, but like you're basically creating new little bubbles of protection from monsters, getting people to move there, like getting them all set up, and then traveling out again.
And I think that ties really neatly into the resting rules being like if to get back, you want to found an outpost because you want to have somewhere that's safe for you to rest for an extended amount of time.
Yeah. And not only that, the next section adds even more because then we get to shrines and Weaver. So
shrines.
Once 1,000 drops of ink have been spent on an outpost,
a weird lady from the woods comes out.
Literally, just like comes like creeping out, like dripping ink. It becomes a shrine, and shrines are sites of permanent resurrection. So you have a camp to protect you from monsters. You can eventually turn the camp into an outpost where people can move to, and if you get enough ink there, you can have a shrine, which is where you get reincarnated at, where you get revived to by the print weavers when you die, right? Resurrected. So if you are way the fuck out there and you get resurrected, you're way the fuck back, like where you were. You could be weeks back. Yeah. As far as your travel goes, if you don't have enough ink set up to build a new settlement and build a shrine.
And when you die, that stuff, you got to travel back. I mean, I assume you would want to travel back, and that could be
we'll get to, there's rules for that. And So, so that's how that
real
works.
Nice, There's a lot of interweaving of like concepts and rules in here that really reinforce each other.
A lot of print weaving.
A lot of print weaving. Wow.
Yeah, weaving it all in. So, so shrines take all sorts of, they can be cathedrals, monuments, like everything, whatever the shrine wants to be, it can be. It is unknown where these strange women hail from, but they speak your common tongue. They reply esoterically to questions. They know local history. Yeah, they're strange. They show up. If the shrine gets defunct, they bounce. Like they're print weavers. That's what they are. I love that. I love that there's no fucking, they just exist.
I don't need more lore than that. Let keep the mystique, like who knows where they come from,
Yeah. Roll me a D10. So there's 1d10 shrine remnants here. These are leftover shrines.
4.
High watermarks show a history of severe and sudden floods. Its barricades broken and swept away. So it's 10 basically like defunct shrines and like what you find at one of these defunct shrines. So I love that. Death and revival. When you die, your print marks wisp from your dead body carried by Providence to the last shrine you rested at. On death, your print marks return to your last shrine. Your attributes are 0. Your vitality is 1. That's what you start as. And you could be deaf. You could be blind, butt-ass naked with your 2 rings.
just your toe ring and pinky.
And 1 vitality. Here's the other thing, too, though, is like you need to travel to go get your stuff, right? But we already talked about how long it takes to rest to get your shit back. Like if you just do 1 night's rest, you're just rolling to see what your attributes go back to, and you don't even get any more than just that 1 vitality. You're really risking it to at least not do like a 3-night thing and try to get a D10 of vitality or just chug in ink. Like it's crazy. Item loss, we talked about this. Everything is left behind except your rings. And then item recovery, there's literally a table here on getting back to your stuff. Again, in a very Souls-like way, you dropped your souls, go back and get them. Yeah. It is a list of the amount of time that has passed and the number of items that are stolen. So 1 day, 1 random item is gone. 3 days, 2 random items are gone. And at 2 weeks, all but 1 item is gone. You got 1 item left. And I would make people roll on their own inventory slots on what was there.
Yeah. Like, hey, what'd you lose? Yeah, and kind of tying back to your point, you said something about chugging ink after being revived, but you won't have any fucking ink.
Oh, shit. You don't have any ink. Sucks. Okay. The print lists are a thing. So basically, the way the print lists work, long story short, is your dead body that you left behind becomes printless. Within 30 minutes of you dying, your body transforms into this like minutia symbol covered creature, this printless. It leaves everything behind, rises up, and wants to kill stuff. Dark eyes, mouth agape, and slightly ajar as they stumble around the gravesite, attacking any who approach. Yeah. A body reduced to ash can become printless, but otherwise they run around and try to find more print marks and chew them up. The only way you can like die is to be consumed by a printless, because you won't be revived until the printless is killed.
Yeah. It's a thing worse than death, Yeah. You're inside this thing. Are you conscious? Maybe.
Who knows? You're just like a mech inside it, but like you have no control. But I do like that, like as it eats more print marks and things, it can grow and morph and change. Like just imagining
big, horrifying monster.
Bro, just covered in all like the print marks and stuff like that, and you know someone could be inside, multiple fucking print lists could be inside. You could have like 10 people show up at a shrine if you kill this thing from like decades ago and stuff like that. That is the first thing I thought of, is in a very like kind of Ghibli, but like the cool dark Ghibli, not like the, you know, fancy green fields Ghibli everyone thinks Ghibli is, like fucking Princess Mononoke
both
style
thing. Both are equally valid, but yeah, go on.
Both are valid, but I despise how people disregard like the actual message or darkness of Ghibli a lot of the time. Anyway, but I imagine like a Princess Mononoke style fucking thing like rising up out of the forest, you know? Yeah. Really cool. Magic, it exists. There's scrolls. They cost 1 will to cast, and you roll a number of dice equal to the will spent plus 1 in order to roll what you want to do. So again, there's a really good example here. For example, if you spend 4 will points to cast Hammer, you roll 5d10. If unopposed, casting a scroll requires 1 success. If opposed, it's contested. There are also books and tomes that make it a little bit easier for you. Books hold 3 scrolls, tomes hold 5, and tomes require 2 hands to wield. Love that. Magic items, they exist. They're there. That's what we're going to say about that. The language of magic, here's a cool gray box. The magic is written in a series of connected lines and symbols called minutia. Great word.
Such a funny use of like fingerprinting terminology.
Right. They share a striking resemblance to the lines and forms that make up print marks, and when correctly positioned, hold great magical potential. Minutia also appear heavily tattooed into the skin of the print list. The more print marks they consume, the more minutia appear on their skin. If you ever see a print list covered in inky minutia, run. Means they're super fucking powerful.
Yeah. For those of you at home that don't know, fingerprint minutia are the tiny marks in your fingerprints that are used as identifying marks when they like compare your fingerprints. So like little breaks and lines and such. It's very interesting. Google it. But buy this game first, then Google it.
Yeah. We haven't really talked about the art a whole lot, but here's a cool little 2-page spread here.
Oh yeah, we haven't. The art's been great. The art bangs in this, man. I really like the shrine art. I can't believe we blew past that without mentioning it. But I love the like church, and you mentioned it earlier, but like the white on like almost black, like almost like negative space art. It looks great. It's really pushes this vibe in here. It's strong.
I think they do a good use of using the art in the book too. Like there's a lot of pages that don't really have any, but they also have tables and stuff to break it up really nice. There's a couple pages with some white stuff on the bottom, but that shrine page is another one of those like half pages we talked about, where like the art fills one page and then half of it in another, so it gives you this really, really nice full page like cohesive spread, which is really good.
It's a great layout. I think going through this, I very much realized how much I like the art spillover onto another page for that to block off that section and create one column on that left side. I'm like, oh, that's very good. I do really like that.
The column art in this is really, really great. That's a thing that I wish a lot more people did, because what a lot of people like to do is like have half a page with column and then something across the bottom. Mm-hmm. But it looks really nice when you just fill one whole side with a piece of art with like a long, like tall piece. It looks really good. They use that, like you said, really effectively in here. The printless page looks really, really great. It's half a page of stuff. If you did it across the top, you could do a big piece at the bottom, but I think it looks really clean when you just do like a narrow piece. It doesn't feel like so heavy on the page. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I do wish, I agree. I wish more projects that we've read would like take that into consideration as well. It is a very cool way to set up.
Yeah, just moving the art in different directions, like in a column or like with some text wrap or something, because so like we said, so many things are just like spot art at the bottom, like mix it up. Like this page here, with the full 2-page spread of that, like again, white on black negative art, is really fantastic. And then we're going to
holding up this scroll, you know.
Yeah, this guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the game. Did I do what I want? Page display, enable scrolling, fit width. And next is we're getting into the run the game section. So we're going to cruise through the GM stuff, get to some monster stuff, then we'll be done. So running the game, there are responsibilities. Guess what? You've read the OSR before. Like this isn't your first OSR game. Guess what you think it is? It's that. And they're good. But we're not going to read them. Progression, I like, again, the game never really says this is levelless. You just notice that there is no advancement, right? But progression in the game is narrative. So you're progressing by establishing a reliable network of outposts to reach a dangerous mega dungeon. For others, it might be reclaiming lost holds of humanity from monsters. But realistically, at the end of the day, the way that the system works, it says world building next to it, but it doesn't mean world building like creating your own lore, except I guess you are kind of creating your own lore. What it really means is like create a safe haven that your travelers start at, and then have them go out and create camps that become outposts, that become settlements, that become shrines, and like keep moving yourself through the world that way, expanding your civilization, expanding your settlements, expanding your stuff. I love that idea of the narrative play in that and how open world it can be.
It kind of reminds me weirdly in a weird way of like Death Stranding. You ever play that?
I watched people play it.
Yeah, yes. Where you're like going, you're like linking, like society's completely like disconnected. You're going and linking it back together, and like having new safe havens and for
a completely non-nefarious purpose.
Yeah, totally. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's really totally okay. Fine. Yeah. Also, good. I love that game, and if you don't, you're wrong. So
I haven't played it, but I watched someone basically do a whole playthrough of it on Twitch, just as I was like body doubling while painting. It's good. It's good.
So good.
Yeah. It's more than just walking. Shrines, but
the walking's great. Sorry, keep going.
No. I agree. Especially when you're like trying to go up the mountains with that giant shit on your back, or like the people that are all bound up. Anyway, but So, shrines and play. They're respawn points. Like that's what they are. There's more here than that. We're not going to talk about a bunch of it. Buy the book if you want to read more of it. Handling death. Basically, be fair. And I wrote not respawn if consumed by printless. We talked about that already. Right. But there's a whole lot of really, really good direction for running the game. Running this game in the way that you think it is. A lot of it is reinforcing kind of like the way you think the game plays as you're reading it, which is really great. Threats. There are them. Monsters run amok. Any sane person barricades their door at night. A good starting point is a quick jaunt to an abandoned settlement, having fallen into ruin from a monster attack. Again, another great piece of art. That's a nice vertical piece. But there are threats. Again, this is more GM advice on running stuff. Safe havens is one we'll talk about a little bit, though. Safe havens is cool. So the world is hungry, sharp, and crumbling. Every pocket of remaining humanity pushed to the extremes to survive. I love that. It's a great line. Basically, when you create a safe haven, you create it similar to the way you do creating a character. So you use the following tables. You roll d10s to generate the safe haven feature for each category: your thumb, pointer, middle, ring, and little finger. And as a GM, you can use your own print marks to make a safe haven to start with. So thumb is your defenses, pointer is your landmarks, middle is your resources, ring is your patrons, and little is the event. And then there's like a bunch of tables here for safe haven features. It says like LL, LA, LW, like all the way through. So you get all of these cool features to build a safe haven. Are you writing one up?
I'm kind of thinking about it. I was looking at the tables and looking at my.
I saw it. Do it real quick. So thumb. Okay. I'll say it to you so you can do it easier. What do you got for thumb?
LW.
You got defenses, raised earth mounds stacked with cobblestones.
Not the best.
Yeah, I mean, okay. What do you have on your landmark, on your pointer finger?
LW. Again.
Oh, another LW. That's going to be a pool of crystal clear water, an ideal alchemical reagent. Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
middle fingers, LO.
Hello. There's no O's. Oh, interesting. There's no O's on safe havens.
Oh, well. Then let's say if I look past my scar, because I can kind of tell. Let's do LW.
Man, just all LWs here. The area is full of large game. Large game. Big games out there.
Big games. Cool.
Yeah, like Kingdom Death and stuff.
WA.
Patrons, a troop of bards keep spirits high. Hey, you got the Ring of Song.
I have the Ring of Song and a bunch of bards in my town.
There you go. And then what's your little finger?
AA.
So an experimental warding ritual involving dozens of mages. That's the event that happens there.
Oh.
They came from the songs. There you go. That's the safe haven. That's what you start with.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, so next we're going to get to encounters. So there are encounter tables. There's an example here of 1d10 encounters in our Amarna, which we'll get to. But basically, use encounter tables in regions. Travelers may move 4 hexes per day, 1 in the morning. We already expect this. Roll an encounter table when travelers enter a new hex or enough time passes to reach a new time of day. So a lot of random encounters in this, and using specific encounter tables for areas and regions. I like when encounter tables are used to add lore and specificity to regions, not just like random shit, right? Like you'll only run into like these monsters in this area and that'll be in your encounter table kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really like that. When you roll, add a modifier depending on the time of day. I like this. In the morning, add 0. Midday, add 1. In the afternoon, add +2. And at night, you add +4. Should a roll exceed 10, that roll is 10. Know that encounters after entry 5 contain monsters or deadly situations. So if the players are travel at night, combat is likely because you're going to roll and it's probably going to be a 10 around here. That sucks for you. Yeah. Spoils of battle. There's a whole loot table here, which is cool. Morale. There are morale rules. They kind of work like what you think. It's will checks. Monstrata. So monsters in this. There is no giant bestiary list here, and I really like that. Well, you get our monster archetypes and the way that like monster attributes work and monster features. So monsters have strength, will, and dex, but they don't have any like protection. Like all damage goes directly to their vitality. So there's actually a table here with vitality dice, strength, will, and dex. So you roll the monster's base vitality dice to get its vitality attribute, which is a score, and then you move attributes around if it makes sense. So something with 2d10 could have 6 strength, 1 will, and 2 dex. But if they would be faster than strong, you could move 4 points of that strength over to dex and go 2 strength, 4 dex instead. Just make it make sense. But a nice little table here. And there's monster features. Monstrata divides monsters into archetypes. To generate a monster is unique to your fingerprints, compare the print mark pairs, and then do that. So as we go down, there's an example here, Amarna's Hand, which is the Herald of the End, which is the beast with 22 vitality. Nice. Really great full page. I love the full page stuff on here. But it'll give you humans as an option, and it gives you disposition, gives you stats, gives you goals, and you can roll all of that up. And then, I think these are 2-page spreads, so let's just look at them like that. So humans, and I like the teapot on the guy's head, which is obviously a call to that FromSoft player, the Dark Souls player that just wears like the pot on their head.
Oh, Let Me Solo. Yeah,
that guy. And that's my assumption. The guy with the pot on his head is a Let Me Solo Her reference. But this predates that, to be fair. Well, then,
I guess it would predate because this was 2021 and written probably a little bit before that, and that I think was like maybe early 22.
Listen, all I'm saying then is it sounds like Let Me Solo Her might have read Printweaver and been like, damn, this pitch kettle knight is pretty dope. What if I put a pot on my head? So there's humans, and there's a whole thing of human features here, which again is fingers. But again, gotta say, none of these later things have O's in them.
Yeah.
So in the features here, in the safe havens, there's no O's. Yeah. Sadly missing obscuras. Yep, there you go. Says the creator. So then we got beast with beast features, golems with golem features, oozes, spirits, dragons.
Call them golems, then, you dick.
Golem. It's whatever. Tomato, right? Eat my ass. Then there's a list of 100 scrolls. Roll me a D100. Roll me a D100.
Okay, rolling a D100. 27.
Okay, so what'd you get? 27.
I got familiar. You summon a phantom animal of your choice. It lasts until it dies and has dice, vitality, and success points distributed among attributes of your choice. If the familiar has more than 3 will, it learns a random scroll. It follows your commands and actions. Your fucking familiar could get another scroll. My familiar also got the familiar scroll.
Your familiar has the familiar? Yeah, that's sick. Roll another D100 because the next appendix is 100 rings.
11.
Ooh, 11. Boulder. Your skin becomes hard like stone. You have disadvantage on dex checks, but gain 2 OB to your armor.
Nice.
It's cool. I don't think we talked about the way OB, where like that's what has to hit you.
Your obstacle number. Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's sick. I don't have dex anyway. I love stone skin.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the end of the game. The last thing in here is fucking seizure alert on that one. Claromancy. Some nights, even travelers need to unwind a bit. So it's a fun game. Where you have it's like a guessing, gambling, kind of like rock paper scissors ish kind of game. So how to play: players sit or stand and face each other, holding their closed fist out in the center of the table. Each player offers an equal amount of gold, local currency, blah blah blah. Simultaneously, each player wraps the table 3 times with their fist as they bring their fist up to make one of 3 gestures below and bring their fist back down a 4th time, locking their throw. So it's just like rock, scissors, paper. You're going to drop out. A whirl is no fingers. A loop is 1 finger and an arch is 2 fingers. So as they lock their throw, each player calls out a sum. The sum represents the total number of up fingers they think are on the table. Again, whirl is 0, loop is 1, arch is 2. So I would go boom, boom, 4. And then players who guess the correct sum of up fingers score a point. When a player reaches 5 points, they win. After a full bout, betting begins again. Super easy. Like, yeah, you're just like kind of betting total points on a like a rock scissors paper kind of game.
Yeah,
I really like at the bottom it says, due to too many fights, a judge is often used for the throws and calls. This is a fun game. I would just play this game, and this is a really fun TTRPG game. Something that's not fucking complicated, that players can just play in character. I love that. I think it's great. There is a reference page on the back, not for any rules, it's for character creation, which again reinforces the classes because again they're capitalized and lowercase. Like you got to give it to me. Like, it's for a classless game. There's a whole lot of class talk in here. Yeah, this is again another page full of the classes. But it's got like a chart, like loop loop, arch arch. It's kind of like a Punnett square.
It is.
It's a Punnett square of character creation, and then it talks about more character creation stuff, like what items each finger represents, what weapons, a list of like what weapons are, a list of what armor is. The only thing I would say on this page is I would just make this a little bit smaller and just put like the core dice mechanic on here, and this would be a great reference page. But not having the core dice mechanic in here at all is like, I don't necessarily need a reference page for character creation because I'll just go to the character creation page.
Right.
And then that's it. There's the Exalted Funeral logo on the back. What I wouldn't have minded on the back is like a write-up. Is basically like if you just have those 4 bullet points from the H page on the back, then you could hit like the class S, level S, and intro to D. You know what we need to start doing, because we've done it a couple times, Sir Richard, is read the back page first, because that's not the, like, you would often flip the back over and read it. Right. We should start reading the back page first. If you're like that kind of stuff on the H page is things that could be really good on the back of the cover, even though the cover does look nice.
Because I pretty much always do it in person when I have the physical book. It's really when I read off the PDF.
Wow, you have an original print? Yeah, I got it, bro. I told you I've had this book forever. Yeah. So that's the read through. So let's go to the scores and let's talk about this. For those that don't know what it is we do here on the show, we talk out our fucking ass and get super pedantic. No, so we quantify our terrible opinions with metrics. Those 5 metrics for games. It's only 3 for zines, but 5 for games are art and layout, usability, rule set, originality, and value. Art and layout is the art, quality, and quantity in the book, and the visual layout, like how does it look, fonts and blank spaces, stuff like that. Usability is the usability, both the PDF and the book, how usable they are at the table. Are sections in a good order? Is it navigable? Is it hyperlinked and bookmarked and all that kind of stuff? Rule set is the rules of the actual game. Again, a lot of this is product as much as game review. The rules of the game, if it's an adapted rule set, how well is it adapted? Do we like it? If it's an original rule set, again, do we like it? Do we think it sounds good? Originality is in any of these categories. It's just, does it have something original? Does it do something interesting and different? If it's a space game, does it do space in a different way? That kind of thing. And value is bang for your buck. It's not just the cost of the game, it's the additional stuff you get on top of that. So let's start with art and layout. What are your thoughts?
Hey, I think visually this book pops. I think it's good. I layout's great. There's a couple of white spaces, but really not that many. There's some little spot art here and there on several pages. There's cool like column art. I like all the fonts. I have really no like major glaring criticisms of the layout. That's kind of more your department. I think there's maybe like a couple of pages where there's a big white spot, but really not very many at all,
Yeah, I don't. Even those pages, I don't mind. Like, there's so much art done. Yeah. And the art, we really like the art. Like, it's definitely like the creator did the art. The style is interesting and neat. I love the kind of like negative art we talked about, like the white on the black. The use of a lot of like column art instead of spot art. There's still some spot art in there. Very readable, very legible. The margins are nice. I mean, gotta say that every time now since Never Going Home. I think, and the cover fucks, you know what I mean? Like, it's really, really good. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
I also like that the black is not, I don't know what the print version's like, but in the PDF, it's not like a completely dead flat black. It is like an ink colored black, where it's like not gray, but it's definitely black. But yeah, it's a good color.
It's not true black. It's like it's like Corvus black, not Abaddon black. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's like I called it off black earlier, I think, because it's like the black version of like off white. But I like it. I think this is like, I don't know, what if you had to call it like good, really good, great? Like, what are you thinking?
Oh, what do I think? I'm pretty in favor of this. I think this is really good.
Do you think this is really good? I do. It's just, I think it's just clean. And one thing I like about the layout is that it does reinforce like even like the rules and stuff in like a very like a roundabout way. That like the whole system is very clean. It looks really clean. Like, and that's why I don't really mind like even like the empty spaces at the bottom, because I feel like it just reads down with like the column art and stuff too on just a couple of those pages. But even those, like, there's a lot of tables that fill in a lot of really good space. There's nothing super glaring, and the use of, again, like those multiple pages that use up like 3/4 of the full spread, I really like it. Yeah,
I love that. I don't know why visually, I really like. It
looks great. Yeah. So think about a 7.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, usability. So this is where it's going to suffer a little bit. There's no book. So PDF wise, nothing. But there's no bookmarks. There's no hyperlinks. But the way that it's written and laid out is in like the 1.1, 1.2. It's great. We love that.
That's pretty good. So I do really wish that was a more widely adopted thing. Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people really want to go for a vibe when you're going through their book, but this book has a very good vibe to it. And also has that great that good organizational tool.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that I love that. I again, like, I do think it does come into usability a little bit when we even talk about things where it's like, it doesn't talk about classless, it doesn't talk about levelless, it doesn't give you. We've talked about this over and over and over again, that like, it's really nice if you intro a game at least explaining like the core dice mechanics, so when you're going through character creation, you have a better understanding of and context for character creation before having to get through all of it, then get to the and then come back. So I really think that like that intro page, even like this very front cover intro section here, easily could have had like, this is a diceless, levelless game that uses D10 dice pools, boom, like one line. That would have been happy as a clam. But like, you don't even learn what the it's like the rules itself are about 20 pages, and you don't even run into the dice mechanic until you're halfway through that. So
context is good. Like, what does a 3 strength mean? You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's a little bit of a usability thing. There's a couple of questions we had with some things like like the skilled action and things like that. So that comes into usability of just being like not having to like kind of stumble through some parts. But I think overall, I mean, I think, you know, the layout, as we said, like structure wise and stuff, is really, really good. Again, I just wish there was a little bit of intro. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking on usability?
What are you thinking? You always ask me what I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
I mean, 5 is bang average. I think this is a little bit better than that.
I would agree. This is better than average.
Yeah. So like a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with some hyperlinks and bookmarks and some stuff, this would be closer to like a 7+.
Yeah, very much agree.
But as far as where it is now, not quite. Rule set. This is one of those ones that like I really liked, and as we read it and talked about it, I liked it even more.
Yeah, I'm glad we went. You know, I always say when we do these episodes, like I obviously, you know, I'm a very ADHD reader. And when we go and talk through these games, it helps me paint a better picture of it in my mind. Like I had a good understanding of this going through, but reading it again with you, I'm like, I do really like this. My only kind of criticism of this game is that your fingerprints don't ever change, like yours.
Yeah, so you if you just do your prints, you would play the same.
In the GM section, I think at one point it talked about using a mirror to invert your fingerprints. I think that's a cool idea. But that's 2 characters.
Well, fuck me.
Like, yeah, well, that sucks for you. But
well, then you go front to back, and then you mirror that. I mean, the other thing is, I mean, it would be kind of neat in here if you just like if there was like a roll table for fingerprints, you know what I mean? And you could just like
exactly.
roll up.
I mean, it's hard because that's a cool idea, but like so much of the cool factor of that is like you get to use your fingerprints. You know what I mean? So
but
I would honestly even prefer rearranging them before like rolling on a table for them. You know,
the inverse of that is like, how many games have you played more than one campaign of?
More than one campaign, or more? That's
what
I'm
saying, because this is a campaign game. You're making a mortal character. Your character is literally immortal.
You are making an immortal. That's a really incredibly valid point.
Yeah.
I mean, your character's immortal until a printless eats them. Then I guess you could use your mirrored hands. That's very fair. I mean, I've played several different characters in almost every game.
Of course, everyone makes up like 10
but they
characters.
were not immortal, so or semi-immortal. That's fair.
Rule set wise, though, I will say one of the coolest character generations out there. Period. Like unquestionably.
Well, I think even beyond how cool the character creation is, the dice pool system is really clean and well written, and a lot of even like the narrative aspects of the gameplay reinforce that same system. And I think it really shines there. It makes a lot of sense as you read through it, and you're like, oh, this is clever in like a very what word did I use earlier? God, I'm blanking.
No, it's
great.
It's clean and really clever. And we talked about this a little bit when we touched base a little bit. We're like, oh, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like standard OSR, right? But then you keep reading it and you're like, but no, like advantage and disadvantage is different. And no, like this part is different. And no, like you use like the way weapons work is different. And like, oh, like, but they do the inventory different. Like it's definitely like steeped in OSR, but has these twists that are like really clever, really, really clean
this game has taken the lessons of like that school of thought and like used it in this system, but like in ways that make sense for this system, you know?
Yeah. It's just, I love games like this that are like rules light in a way where you can make a rule that's so simple and easy that like a big 400-page book takes like half a chapter to do. You know what I mean? It's like this does exactly the same fucking thing and it took 6 words, you know? And I feel like there's so many times with this where I read that. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm thinking probably great. I just think like, the character creation's fantastic. I think the riff of like using your fingerprints to create your character instead of like rolling dice. I mean, first off, it's infinitely more fun. You know, and I constantly talk about games like Traveler and shit, where like they make making a character like a fun mini game. Like this is fun. That's fun to do. Also, you get to learn about fingerprints. And then I love a dice pool system. This is an incredibly well executed dice pool system. We've read a lot recently where I had like criticisms on the execution of the dice pool system here or there, but I don't really have any on this one.
I mean, Yeah, everything we read while doing the dice pool system made it make more sense. Again, like the advantage and disadvantage is so good.
Yeah.
The attribute points, being able to spin those points on top of your scores, the skilled actions, the additional actions and stuff. There's so much fun, clever, great loops, great feedback loops in the system too that really let you continue and buy into it. Man, we get too many fucking 8s, bro.
I know. Well, we don't read any games that we don't like is the problem. We should read more games that we hate.
True. That's very true. Because this is going to be another 8, though. You know what I mean? It really is.
I mean, I don't think it's a reason to not give it an 8.
Sherwood got an 8. Off-World's got an 8. Never Going Home got an 8.
Never Going Home is really good, too.
Moonlight got a 7. Mini BX got a 7. I think this is an 8, man.
I
don't think it quite reaches 9, but this is like high 8s.
Yeah.
Originality.
I mean, you use your fingerprints to make a fucking character in the game.
Not even just the character, also like the monsters and the safe havens and like everything.
Oh, dude, and the outpost building, the shrines, the spending of this ink as a resource that you do everything with. You can imbue your weapons with it. You can use it to ward. You like, it's everything. I mean, I think even just if you stripped away everything and like how the ink economy works in this game and is constantly applied to everything is fantastic.
Again, that's another feedback loop that's really fucking good, and the way that the ink does work with resting, the way resting works with building a settlement, because 2 weeks, man, you got 2 weeks to like get people here and do the ink and build the settlement. There's a lot of fun built-in downtime without it needing to be explained too much. I mean, it all feeds into itself incredibly well.
Dude, this might be excellent for me.
I agree.
Cool.
I think that's an easy 9.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's an easy 9 for this.
Easy 9 on originality. Value. Okay, let's look at value. So we got.
Because I did not look at the price of this at all, to be honest with you.
So PDF on the itch page is $10. Mm-hmm. Super fucking reasonable, right? Over on Exalted, PDF only is unavailable. So just go buy it on the itch page. But the print in PDF is only $20.
Oh, really? That's so unbelievably reasonable. So
yeah, especially on Exalted. Like, not that they were crazy expensive, but like they do have an overhead. $20 for an $80 print, and it's a nice print. Is super fucking reasonable. Yeah. Not only that, it is available on Negredo Press, which is I do have a couple things from there. It's an Italian press, so the game is available over there, which I think, I mean, anytime you have a game in multiple languages, I think that adds to the value of the game.
Absolutely.
And on top
also just
of
the
that, ability
to get it in another country.
Huge. And on top of that, there is for 13 USD an introductory campaign for Print Weaver, the end of Amarna, which is the beast we saw in there. Which looks fantastic. Editing and development by Matt Kay again. Cover art again by Justin McElroy. Wait, are there physical copies available?
I think it's Justin McElroy.
Whatever, McElroy, same fucking shit. It said physical copies available soon, but when I click it, it just takes me to the primary page. So, were there physical copies available of that? And if not, will there be some soon?
Hold on, I'm watching an ad for MetaQuest on our channel.
No, there were, and they're sold out. I don't have it. I can't believe I don't have something.
Yeah, I can't believe you don't have something. Yeah,
that's crazy. That makes me sad. The cover goes fucking hard, dude. Let me throw the cover up here just so people can see what it looks like. The cover goes super hard. Another McElroy, fucking dick.
You see chat?
No. I just got my physical copies. It should be out soon. Fuck yeah.
Cool. Because Ryan really wants to make sure there's nothing in his collection that he doesn't have. So
this is the cover. This is the cover for End of Amarna. It looks fucking great. I already did the email notification, so I'll get that.
Oh, cool. Oh,
isn't it? It's
good
so
use of
good.
green. Very cool.
Yeah, that looks fantastic.
Wow.
And like,
so for those of you listening, we did a bad job of narrating what we're looking at. So
watch the show.
We're having one of those days. But it is like this great, like that kind of fingerprint texture castle with what is in the sky? Is like a giant bat?
Yeah, that's a giant bat. That's a Marna. Like it's the
and it's got like these green streaks coming out. The moon behind it's kind of green, but it still has that very like black and white or like gray, dark gray and white. It is very, very pretty. I kind of want that as a poster, honestly.
No, it would be a sick poster.
It would be a great poster.
So it's $13 PDF, and then there will be physical copies available. So that obviously adds to the value because there is a whole introductory campaign, which will have a print version, has an Italian version, and $20 honestly for this is super fucking worth it.
You should raise the price.
So what are we thinking for value?
I don't know. That's like I think for that, I'm thinking a higher number. What are you thinking?
I have a number in here. If it's the same as the one that you say, then I'll say done.
No, say your number.
No, I have it. You have to say yours.
An 8.
An 8 is what I had. So,
okay, there we go.
All right.
Perfect.
Listen, we always are like this is why we do the show together. So that is what it's going to be. 7 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9 plus 8. That is a 38.
That's a respectable score.
That is an extremely respectable score. And if there were hyperlinks and bookmarks and stuff like that, that could have been in the 40s. Yeah. I think, like, what's the high score you ever got? 43, 44, or something like that?
I don't remember.
Very, very solid score, especially with our new scoring metric. That's one of the higher ones I think we've given out in a little bit. I really enjoyed this game a lot. And like I said, I really like that as we went through, we're like, oh, this is kind of the OSR. And then you go, wait a minute, this is like more and better.
Yes.
And like, but yeah, let's see. Off Warlords 39, 32, 40, 35, 37, 36. So one of the top 2 or 3 scores you've given this year. And I think it deserves it. I think this is a great game. That is Print Weaver from N.L. Morrison. It is available in print over on Exalted. Grab it on their itch page as well. And go search Print Weaver on Exalted and do an email note. Well, don't notify until I get my copy. And then you can get as many copies as you want.
Brian's got to get his first. He's really got to make sure.
So when this goes live, I will post a picture of Hell Knight, the Black Rainbow Society. Make sure to go like that. So next time we do an episode, we will be giving away a copy of this. Make sure to go check that out. I'll make sure the links to all of the stuff that was at the beginning with the Kickstarter is there. Make sure, obviously, the links to all the Print Weaver stuff is there. And catch us on
the flip.
No settings on this week. We're figuring out some new schedules and some new jobs. But on Wednesday, Zach Jelly Muppet from Soul Muppet Publishing will be on Wednesday morning to talk about Mad as Hell. And we'll be back Saturday, 10 to 11-ish for whatever we decide to do next week.
Hunter's work lets him out.
There you go. First, thank you so much, N.L. Morrison, for being in chat with us today. We love when the creators are here so we can bounce questions off them. It's always nice to get some, inside baseball as we go through some stuff. So really appreciate that. And thank you everyone for listening. Hunter, beautiful as always. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.